Hey there everybody, the Destroyer here, and welcome back to another cast of the Rise of the Witch King patch 2.02 version 5.0.1. Today we have a 2v2 on Buckland. So hopefully it'll be a good game. We'll take a look and let's see who's our players for today. We have Caleb in the top right is the Dwarves, and his ally for this match will be Turgon of the Goblins. And the opposing team, we have Eonwe as the Men of the West in the bottom left, and in the bottom right we also have Men of the West, JoHnJaYRamBo is his name. So, two Men of the West versus a Dwarf and a Goblin. An interesting sort of matchup here. No mirrors directly either, which is always nice, I think at least. Alright, looks like Turgon's opening with a Goblin Cave there after his two tunnel start there. We have a Hall of Warriors over here from Caleb, who has his forward mine, or not his forward, his base mine that he'll be sending all his troops into right there. And his builder is moving over to the center. It's possibly going to do some sneaky double action over here with his ally. It's a potential. Let's see what Eonwe is going for here. He's going for Gondor soldiers. He's got two of them queued up there, so we'll begin getting some of them out. And it looks like we have the same over here for Rambo. That's what I'll call him for this cast. So Rambo is going to get some soldiers out, and as Eonwe, they'll undoubtedly send them probably towards the center. Maybe not. They might go directly for the enemy base. Looks like Eonwe is going to do just that. And we do indeed. Caleb has put a forward mine over next to his teammates' area, so he's going to go for an attack on Eonwe, or defense from Eonwe, helping his ally out here. And Turgon has sent out some Goblin Warriors as well. Nice grouping up of the soldiers between the two teams to get the most out of their rally call. It's always advised to do that. Rambo bringing in some soldiers here. He might be able to claim this or knock it down depending on what he wants to do. He is the first one here and no one has contested it, so he could claim that for his own. Poison blades being used on the Gondor soldiers here. This reinforcement battalion should be enough to take down the rest of them. Not only will they take flanking damage, it looks like, but they will also use poison. Well, I guess they didn't need to use their poison blades, fortunately for them. Looks like Turgon's sitting on two caves now. And Caleb's resting his builder there for now. He still has his forward mine, thankfully for him. Now let's see how his attack goes. Fairly well so far. Guardians with the rally call buff are very strong, very hard to take down, especially when they're put in a whole ground stance. Looks like Caleb's bringing some more Guardians over here, but there is the War Chant going down, actually buffing these ones and the Goblin Warriors once again. And there are Gondor soldiers in shield wall formation with the whole ground stance, which also makes them pretty tanky as well. And they are buffed also, so they do have a chance. Looks like those Guardians were cleaned up, and now Eonwe will move in towards Turgon's base in the north. Meanwhile, it looks like all that's left really is a... all the dwarves are dead, just some goblins, so those Gondor soldiers should be able to clean those up, I think, without too much trouble. Caleb bringing out more dwarves to make sure he can keep his mineshaft. Fortunately, he's got some guys on the side of him with buffs. They should take this mineshaft down, I think. The buffs have wore off, unfortunately for them. Will they be enough? It's not a full battalion. There's only two guys left in that battalion, and I think they're going to go down before that mineshaft goes. So luckily for Caleb, he won't have to remake his mine anywhere. Rambo sending more men over here. He's also killed the cave troll, and he's taking down the cave troll layer now, so you get the gold and experience points and what have you. Rambo does have himself a archery range, and he's getting Gondor archers out in the field now. It looks like Eonwe has done the same. He does have himself some Gondor archers out in the field also, which is always helpful. Gondor soldiers and Gondor archers, a good combo. You got the tanky guys in the front, the archer guys in the back with their aggressive stance, doing as much damage as possible. The way you should usually with most archers. I always put my archers in aggressive stance, because really, they shouldn't be taking damage anyway. But having them do the most damage is good. We have some spider riders out in the field, Turgon, as well as a lot of Goblin Warriors there. So he has a fairly decent force there. We have a well being, or hearth rather, being thrown up by Caleb in the back of his ally's base. So he can heal up his spider riders or what have you when he comes back, or his dwarves if he brings them over here. Spider riders are great for defense as well, as you see here. You don't want to stop an attack like that, though. You want to just run him over. There you go. Very nice defense. And now Turgon and Caleb going to push south with a big force. Rambo is ready to help out, though. He has a big force in the center himself. And Eonwe is mustering a bunch of troops to get ready for the intercept. Looks like he's thrown down a marketplace. Of course, both players benefit from the marketplace that Rambo has thrown down in this patch. So they both get the 12% resources from farms, which is always handy. So if you definitely have two of the same players on a team, it's always nice to get the marketplace as soon as possible to benefit both of you. Looks like that farm was taken out pretty easily. That farm goes down as well. The Spider Rider's getting a nice run through there. There's not much in the way of pikes. Just a few straggling pikemen here and there. There's another battalion of pikes throwing up, though, from Rambo to help negate some of these Spider Riders. They haven't really lost anyone, though. Spider Rider just now losing a Spider Rider. So they're doing fairly well, I'd say. Let's take a look at powers and stuff while we're at it. While Caleb pushes south, putting forward mine in front of Rambo's base here. Caleb, the dwarf, has 4 power points to rally call. We have Rambo, the men of the west here, have 4 power points to rally call. Same things. Actually, it's mirrored across the board. Eonwe has 4 power points to rally call. He's got 5 power points now. The Goblins player Turgon has Cave Bat's War Chant 2 power points. So he's ahead in power points right now. But Goblins usually are ahead in power points most of the game. They gain power points fairly quickly due to all their Goblin warriors being in combat quite often. And that's how you gain your power points. So, that is the thing. We have a builder here in the army with Rambo. I don't know if he wants to be there. You better be getting hazard pay is all I'm saying. But it looks like Rambo does have a fairly decent sized force to defend with here. And he's got a lot of guys out here on the field already. Cave Bat's being thrown up there. Unfortunately, Turgon missing the mark, driving right over the Cave Bat's riding. And he does lose pretty much the whole battalion. But he can, of course, retreat them back, heal up on this hearth that his ally has so nicely built for him. And that will save him from having to rebuild an entire battalion of Spider Riders, as they'll just heal up their battalions and their numbers, which is great. Looks like the Dwarves are making some ground here. He does have a charge attack on his Guardians now, which he could utilize. There he goes. Love seeing the Dwarven player utilize their charge attacks, as it is basically a free rally call. Guardians 50% armor, 50% damage, and they get a little charge bonus as well, which is always nice. But they will fall, of course. They are heavily outnumbered, so you can't expect too much. But they did go down fighting in a glorious battle. Looks like Rambo's guys are being cut down here. These Goblin warriors just absolutely slicing through these Gondor archers, who have the Cave Bats over them, of course, making them incredibly weak. Looks like Eonwe has gone for some Gondor Knights, so he's going to try to utilize Cavalry himself. We'll see how that goes for him. Turgon throwing up a tunnel here over in his allies' area. That is fairly forward, though. He needs to be a little bit careful. Unfortunately, the army of Caleb gets stuck right outside of the mineshaft, unable to get away, or get out of the mineshaft in order to stop this mineshaft from falling. And in comes the Spider Rider hordes. Absolutely devastating. Taking out Rambo's army with ease. Only thing left is these pikes and the summoned hobbits. But he's bringing in reinforcements very quickly. Unfortunately, though, there is not enough pikes here to save them. The Spider Riders are just doing massive amount of damage here. Looks like he did miss. Well, kind of. He hit some of his guys with that War Chant there. Got Goblin Warriors attacking these Gondor Knights. Not the best unit for doing that, but the ones that do live do some damage. Would be better to use the Poison Blades, of course, but it doesn't look like he's remembering to. He's definitely busy elsewhere. Oh, Eonwe takes a huge hit from the Spider Riders. It looks like he has Scavenger as well now. Caleb the Dwarf has to rebuild. We have, of course, summoned hobbits, as we saw there from Rambo. And we do have Scavenger indeed. Earns kills. Or all kills earn extra resources for the Goblin player. So anything he tramples gives him money, which is always nice. In come the Gondor Knights, not doing quite as glorious a trample, but they did do some good damage. Of course, a lot of these guys are Eonwe, so there's not really much left to trample anyway. Let's go up here. How are things going in Caleb's domain? He does have himself a Prince Brand out in the field, who is always usually the first hero to come out for the Dwarves, and one of the better ones in my opinion, because he's a ranger, which is always handy, and his slam shot is absolutely incredible. If he can get a nice slam shot when they're all clumped up, it could kill pretty much an entire army, which is always nice. As you see there, it took out a lot of guys. Didn't kill all of them though, but it did kill a fair chunk of them. He will need to pull back his Prince Brand though very quickly, because he does not have the force necessary to stop him. Caleb has a lot of dwarves ready to engage though. 4 battalions it looks like, as well as Prince Brand. He's kiting around his fortress to try and keep his Prince Brand alive, as well as keep the fortress shooting at his enemies. In come the Spider Riders. Hopefully they'll be able to clean up majority of this rabble from the Men of the West. And those Gondor archers go down with ease. It's like they weren't even there. We have a Gloin out in the field for Caleb now. Very nice indeed. Rambo continuing to send men over to the north. Looks like Eonwe doing the same. Gonna send some men against Turgon here shortly. He does have a well in the back of his base as well, healing up his troops. It looks like Caleb has stabilized his base though, with the help of his ally. Lots and lots of Spider Riders. This is a very good army. The more Spider Riders you get, the better, just because they're so versatile. They do great trample damage, they are good against buildings, and they can be turned to bow mode if you don't need to use them that way. But Rambo's really learning he really needs a lot of pikes. He's relying too heavily on the Gondor soldiers. And unfortunately they're just really bad against Spider Riders. He is bringing some spikes forward now, but unfortunately the rest of his army is completely gone. And this trebuchet is going to fall as well. And undoubtedly the siege work is going to follow suit shortly, I'd imagine. Cave Bats being brought over to weaken this army. The Spider Riders don't want to stand here and fight. They should really get out of there. Even the Spider Riders, I believe, will kill Gondor Knights even in combat. Caleb summoning the Men of Dale to help out over there. Men of Dale, of course, is a good summon. Very strong archers. So they should get a lot done here, especially with the Guardians tanking the front. Also the Spider Riders in the back doing bow damage also, which is quite nice. And out goes Eonwe's army. Fairly sizable. He has tower guards in his army now. So he's upgraded to stage 2 tower, stage 2 pikemen. We have 3 goblin caves, one of them being level 3 for the goblin player Turgon, who also has a spider pit there, level 2, which is the bare minimum for the Spider Riders. You don't really need to go level 3 for that. There's not much benefit to going level 3, to be honest, in a spider pit, unless you just want the more speed. And we have a worm summon from Turgon. That should get a lot of damage done. As you see, they do a lot of damage to structures. So he's definitely going to take a few barracks with him. And he's going for a nice attack here. Turgon's targeting down anything important. He's going to get this marketplace down very quickly. Of course, that will cut off the marketplace bonus for both players. So this glowy effect will now go away from the farms. And the more farms he can take out, the better. This is a big attack. It's definitely going to do some damage to JoHnJaYRamBo. So we'll see if he can react to that and recover. Fortunately, his teammate does have a lot of army. Prince Brand is definitely not going to be enough to hold this off. There is a full army of dwarves in here, though. And out they come. So we'll see how the army of dwarves fares against the army of the Men of the West. Looks like the Men of the West army is buffed, though, which the dwarves are not. Gloin getting a huge slam there, killing a lot of guys because they're all clumped up. You have to be very careful of that. Dwarves have a lot of clump units abilities like slam and slam shot. Essentially they're the same move, just one of them's from an arrow. Uh-oh, he needs to get his Prince Brand. Those Rohirrim are going to cut him down. Ah, he does fall to the Gondor Knights with Eonwe in charge there. Now Rambo's pushing north with his army, with his ally. Although meanwhile, looks like Turgon has decided to move against him. We do have another marketplace on the field now. Looks like has been rebuilt over here somewhere. There it is. So both players regain their marketplace benefits. We have a King Dane out in the field for Caleb now. So he has Gloin and King Dane out in the field. Gloin's up to level 10. Or not level 10, level 7. Once he gets level 10, he will be an absolute monster. His level 10 ability is so destructive against armies. Causes a small earthquake around Gloin's location. It's very good. Definitely have to watch out for that. Let's take a look at powers here. Caleb has Dwarven Riches now, 25% resources for Mineshaft, passive ability. Some of Dale, of course. And he's got Heal also. Looks like we have Summon Rohan allies for Rambo, who's got 8 power points remaining. Looks like Eonwe has defended. And Eonwe has 11 power points after getting his hobbits. And then, of course, the Goblins have the most powers of all. He has the Worm, of course. He has Summon Wildman ready to be used also. 2 power points after that. Rambo signaling there is an army of dwarves coming for his base. Indeed there is, and he needs to fear it. Led by King Dane and Gloin, that should do pretty good damage. And it doesn't look like Rambo has a whole lot in the way of defense. So his ally is sending an army to help out. Lots of Goblin warriors here from Turgon, cutting down these guys as they run. Definitely not going to get very far. The Goblin Spider Riders are healed up and continue to heal. The more hearths he puts down, up to 4, the more these regenerate battalions. They don't heal up quicker, but they do regenerate their missing units quicker. That's how that works. And it does cap out at 4, so I've been told. So it's always good to know. We have a Faramir out in the field for JoHnJaYRamBo, who is sniping dwarves left and right quite nicely and quite effectively as well. It's actually pretty good for killing off guardians because they're very slow. So he gets nice shots off. Lots of Spider Riders, holy crap. It's just outrageous. That would be very difficult to deal with. A thing that would be very useful for Rambo to deal with that would be Boromir's Horn to freeze them in place. Of course, he will need the army to finish them off, though. Something that would be good for that would probably be a mass amount of Rohirrim, maybe. Or something like that, I don't know. I'm not the best, so I don't know all the strats. In goes a big Rohirrim charge. Managed to do a lot of damage there. Led by Eomer. He's up to level 6. Got some Targars there in Porcupine, just chilling. Looks like the worm has left a burn mark across the land. There's an Undermine. Caleb has gone for that as his next power. Decided to throw it under the armies to knock them about, do a little damage. You have to be careful late game against the dwarves with the Undermine ability. They can load up a dwarven army into the base, or into this. Looks like he's got a Gimli as well now. So he's got the 3 tough dwarven heroes. Here they come. Gimli's already level 3, so he's seen some combat already. But yeah, they can undermine behind your base, pop out with some guardians with siege hammers or whatever, and just destroy your base instantly. You got to be very careful with that when you're up against dwarves. That could be a real threat in this game as well. I guess time will tell. I don't know what this red particle effect is, but it is doing something. Oh, that must be the Mighty Rage. Target friendly units gain 33% armor and damage. Reduces target enemies' armor and damage. Nullifies enemy leadership. It's not an ability you see used very often, to be honest. That's why I'm not too sure what it looks like. Caleb has gone for Dwarven Zealots, the mini hero horde unit for the dwarves there. He's got a couple battalions of them. They're very strong. They're just mini Gimlis. A couple battalions of them, so lots and lots of Gimlis on the field. Gimli and his little cousins, or whatever you want to call them. Looks like we do have a Summon Hillman from Wildman from Turgon over here, as well as lots of Goblin Warriors. And the Spider Riders, they get a nice taste of the Porcupine, the old pike. They definitely don't want to run into those tower guards. Those are strong pikemen. Of course, those will be cut down fairly quickly by all these Goblin Warriors. There's an overwhelming amount of them. We'll see how Caleb fares down in the south here with his pretty strong army of heroes and mini heroes. Rambo summoned a Tom Bombadil there. And we do have Eonwe summoning hobbits. Hobbits throwing the rocks, their little Silverthorn rocks. They're very good against heroes as well. So definitely the dwarves have to be wary of that. But the dwarves in full retreat of Tom Bombadil. deciding to get out of the way and just run out his timer, really, before he loses too much. Which tends to be the case when Tom Bombadil is summoned. People just run. Because it's not really worth fighting, you just lose a ton of troops. We're here, I'm getting a nice run through on the Goblins there. Getting a little bit of money here and there. Because of Eomer's outlaw leadership. Nearby allies earn resources per kill. A nice ability to have. What the shit was that? Ah, that was a Drogoth. It's like, I don't recognize that sound. What is that? We have a Dragon Lord. So Turgon is definitely growing in power. How close is he to a 25-point power? He's up to 18. He's very close to a Balrog. So that will be very devastating for the southern team once the Goblins get a thing there. Faramir using his wounding arrow on the Drogoth. Causes target monster to flee. I don't know if it works on Drogoth though. Doesn't look like it. Drogoth getting a nice swoop down and killing a lot of guys. Drogoth's fairly tanky against what he's being thrown at him. Rambo sending out more men. Eonwe doing the same. I definitely say the northern team is winning this match up to this point. It's going to be very difficult to stop the Goblins and the Dwarves even. Caleb doing very well also. And he's actually getting up there in power points also in comparison. He's sitting on about 3,000 gold right now actually. He could definitely go for upgrades or something. But once the Goblins get the nasty Balrog, he's going to absolutely level a base, assuming he uses it to do that. Both Men of the West teams have actually got the Summon Rohan Allies ability. That's that right there, actually. Although Turgon's base looking fairly safe against attacks, as he does have these up to level 3 arrow towers. He gets arrow towers on his fort, and he gets the Spiderling hole expansions as well. Let's go down here, see how the battle fares. Oh, just in time for our glowing Shatterhammer. He is level 10. Perfect. Absolutely decimating Rambo's army. That was pretty brutal. And the Goblins are up to 23 power points. Let's just leave it on the Goblin's camera. Then we'll see when he gets the Goblin, or the Balrog. There's a worm, and comes a Undermine from the Dwarves as well, so he can pump more guys out of here if he wants to. Or also you can use this to it's not excavate. What's the word I'm looking for? Evacuate. Not excavate. Excavate is more of a digging kind of thing. But yeah, you can evacuate. Bring this up, throw your army into it, and just get out of there if that's what you want to use it to do. So it's very versatile in what it does. The worm, of course, down here burning away the buildings is going to take that archer range out, no doubt. The Balrog has been purchased. Where is it? There it is. I was ready. Looks like it summoned out, catching the tail end of the army there. Oh, the Dwarves also have a 25-point power. I wasn't aware of that. Apparently Goblins Shatterhammer did some serious power point farming. And he has summoned a Citadel. King Dane also summoning his level 10 Royal Guard. Well, this game is ending with a bang, isn't it? Very nice. So he just summoned in some fully upgraded Dwarves. And now he's going to go for the kill on Rambo's fortress. There is no way Rambo can stop this, unfortunately. And he will be quickly and swiftly knocked out of the game. Where did Balrog run off to? There he is. He's continuing to rampage over there. It's looking like Rambo is going to be defeated here shortly. He's just got this barracks and this archery range here, and he'll be taken out of the game. Eonwe has actually been defeated first. Rambo's still alive somehow. But that was a very nice mighty catapult shot. And there you go, Rambo's been defeated. Good game. That was a very epic conclusion to a match as well. So that's always nice to see. But yeah, good to see a Dwarf player do well. That was definitely how you play Dwarves, I would say. So take a few notes there. He did well. But his ally definitely helped him out with a lot with those Spider Riders also, so that's something to keep in mind. Good teamwork will win you games. But yeah, hopefully that was an enjoyable cast of the Rise of the Witch King patch 2.2, and I will see you guys next time.